The World Cup action here in Oberhof, Germany, our second trip to Oberhof this season. It all concludes right now with the second mixed doubles and mixed singles competition of the season. Hi again, everyone. I'm Tim Singer. As usual, a great crowd of not just Germans, but worldwide luge fans have come to the state of Thuringia, where they love their sled sports, in particular luge, where the World Championships have been held here on this track 4 times over the years, most recently in 2023. We've had a lot of great action over the weekend here, all of the races won by Germany and Austria, but we've also seen Switzerland on the podium, and we should see a lot of exciting action here with the second mixed events of the year. Right now, to tell us a little bit more about the racing here in Oberhof and more about this track and today's competition, making her debut at the microphone, we're pleased to introduce from Team Canada, Ember Lee Susko. Ember, welcome.
Thank you, Tim. I'm happy to be here.
Great to have you. So we've had one of these events so far. It was in Lillehammer. Unfortunately, I don't believe you were on hand for this. So you're getting to see mixed singles and mixed doubles for the first time yourself. What do you know about it? What are your teammates telling you about this new discipline?
Yeah, this is a very exciting new discipline with the same kind of format as the very exciting relay. It's super, super thrilling to get to see a brand new event that, yeah, like you said, this is only the second time it's happened, so it's fresh for sure.
Now, one thing all of you lugers keep a close eye on is the weather. And yesterday it was warm. Today it started out with a little bit of rain. As we see, there's some snow falling now. What are the concerns for the athletes? Is it to go early in the order?
Yeah, I think there could definitely be some potential for some track deterioration today. We didn't see too much in the men's race, but with it being warm and wet, that frost just loves to grow on this track.
See the athletes getting ready, getting the sleds prepared. I believe that's Paula Gubitz of Team Germany. He was on the podium yesterday in doubles. We'll start it off with the men's doubles, and we've got 12 teams on hand. One interesting feature, of course, and we're going to see it in singles, not in doubles, Emberly, but it's for the first time we've had nations or athletes from different nations being able to pair up together. So that's a lot of fun, especially for Alex Ferlazzo, who trains with the Canadians, right?
Yeah, it's very exciting to see the mixing of teams. I think maybe there's been thought of that to happen in the team relay when people are short a member, but it's really exciting that we're seeing the mixing of nations here.
And before we get to the action, we've got you on the microphone. Only the second time this season I've been able to work with a member of Team Canada. So your team was not in full force at the beginning of the season, and we saw a women's doubles team that will not take part. That's why Canada isn't in the doubles competition. Will we see full fields in 2 weeks on your home track in Whistler?
Yeah, on the home track in Whistler, there'll be an athlete in every field, so that'll be super exciting to watch the mixed doubles go down for Team Canada for the first time on our home track.
So no Canada here, but plenty of other players as you see. It'll begin with the Italians. The Latvians will have their first entry in position number 4. The USA ended up on the podium in second place, I believe, second or third at the opening race in Lillehammer. And then we count them down, as I said, to a very powerful Germany tandem. Wendell Alt, Degenhardt Rosenthal. Of course, right before them, the Austrians with Stoy, Kindle, Egla, Kipp. Those, on paper, would be the team to beat. But Ember, you know, on paper, that's one thing. On this Oberhof track, it's an entirely different proposition, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Anything can happen on this track. There's lots of very crucial places here. I'm sure the Germans have many, many training runs here, but you never know what's going to happen. And the pad is in quite a difficult spot here, so very interesting.
So rules of the sport, for those of you brand new, and that includes us, so we're all still learning as we go, but the doubles will begin with the men's doubles team. They'll hit the pad for the women's doubles team. They each start obviously down on their respective doubles starts. Later on for the singles, 2 different start areas. So that's a variation of the team relay where we've got the 2 different start areas. But here's doubles. Rieder and Keinswalder, Team Italy, teaming up with Falkensteiner and Huber. They finished 5th in Lillehammer. This duo finished 13th yesterday in the World Cup here in Oberhof.
Yeah, so I think they're just going to be looking to put down some clean runs, good fast start. We'll see what we've got. Looking clean through that top section. It's really easy to break out into skids up there, so this is looking really good right now. They're looking smooth. Out of 11, that was really nice. That's a pretty crucial spot here, setting them up into 13. And they stick the landing.
That's very well put, sticking the landing into the finish, Kreisel.
Yeah.
So this is the traditional finish line. Now they come up a long outrun where they'll hit the pad no problem as they open the gate for Nadia Falkensteiner and Annalena Huber, who yesterday had the dreaded DNF in the women's doubles competition.
Yeah, unfortunately they had some troubles yesterday, so we'll see if they can clean it up for today and hit that pad through the finish line. Looking good through here. And so this 9, 10, 11 combination's quite tight. And on double sled, it's even tighter. Coming out, looking good. This run definitely looking a bit cleaner than yesterday.
Nice to finish up the World Cup season and head over to the World Championships on a positive note.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be stoked to stick it out of there because I believe that's where they dumped it yesterday. So
that's right. Still have the pad to deal with, but no issues there. 137.351 will be the early time to beat. And if you look at the start lists, that is a time that at least should hold up for a couple of sleds, with Romanians and Ukrainians to follow, who had, by and large, worse showings this weekend.
Yeah, that looked like a really 2 good runs. I think they can be pretty happy walking away with that.
Have you done doubles?
I have done doubles very briefly last year with my teammate Beatty Podolsky. Unfortunately, it didn't last too long, but she's out there killing it now as a top woman, and we'll see her with Kaylee Allen in Whistler. Very exciting.
And those 2 young Canadians have been part of the World Cup for a couple of races, Winterberg and Altenburg, I think. How come they didn't come here?
I think just with them being such a fresh team and the limited amount of runs you get in a World Cup week, it was better for them to go home and train in Whistler than to risk injury here.
Team number 2, out of 12 here in mixed doubles. This is the 2nd time ever for this discipline on the World Cup, and it is a discipline that the International Luge Federation hopes to introduce to the International Olympic Committee for future consideration at the Olympic Games. Certainly not in Cortina, but who knows, maybe in France in 2030. Romania, Stefan Hondorek and Sebastian Molcha, teaming up with Raluca and Mihaela. They finished in 9th place in Lillehammer.
Yeah, so far this run's looking pretty good. These 2, they look pretty confident on their sled right now, which is always good. Smooth as fast, so they're putting together a pretty good run here. Yep, nice and smooth out of 13 there. Here we go. And this could be a problem we see a lot today, is that hitting out of that finish corner is quite common. So
opening the gate for Raluca Stramatraru, Mihaela Manolescu. 9th place at their World Cup debut in this discipline in Lillehammer. Yesterday they finished 12th in the women's doubles competition.
yeah, again, Raluca's been on the circuit for a long time, switching from singles to doubles. And it's just so impressive watching her put down some good lines here.
I'm looking forward to talking with Raluca when we get to Canada about her head position. We've spoken a lot about this weekend. She keeps it unusually high, but obviously it's a working recipe, if not for speed, for safety.
Yeah, sometimes athletes like to take a bit of more of a peek just to confirm their lines and what they're doing, and sometimes that can be faster than putting your head back and maybe hitting a wall instead of taking a look and keeping it straight.
That's a good point. And someone said to me recently, it's also a better idea than going up and down, which is going to kill you aerodynamically.
Yeah, exactly. Keeping that wind stream solid is definitely a bit faster.
This was a second place time, 1.5 seconds behind Team Italy. Italy number 2. It definitely looks like, as far as pad placements are around the world, this is one of the more friendly spots to have a pad.
Yeah, it's can be challenging though, because as that outrun goes up, it goes into like almost a blind hump. So it's kind of hard to see it sometimes, and there's a bit of extra pressure as you go up there. So it's a bit challenging sometimes for sure.
Team Ukraine opened up the season with a 10th place result in mixed doubles in Norway. Now Ior Hoy and Nazari Kaczmar on course. 17th place result yesterday in the World Cup doubles event.
Yeah, again, a lot of good runs going on down here in the beginning of this racing. Lots of people are putting it together well. Nice cross.
Well, that guy has to be careful with that shaker, that noisemaker, hanging it over that straightaway to 14. I hope he doesn't let go.
Yeah, that would be pretty detrimental if someone dropped that in the track and someone else hit it.
Detrimental indeed. Olena Stechkiv and Alexandra Moak now on course. They finished 10th yesterday. Olena, the opposite of many athletes who went from doubles to singles. She is a longtime singles athlete. For a while, she did both. Now it looks as if she's concentrating solely on doubles.
Yeah, she's a busy woman for sure. Seeing her switching back and forth, it seems like she's maybe decided to stick more with doubles, which is super reasonable. It's a lot of runs in a week to do both.
Later on, we'll see Wolfgang Kindl, who will not only take part in singles and doubles. He's already done it twice this weekend and been on the podium in both races for Austria. So now we'll see how this pad hits. Time-wise, they've been on the red a good chunk of the way, and they finish out ahead of Romania, but over a second behind Italy. And the Italians' first challenge is getting ready at the top with the first of 2 Latvian teams.
Yeah.
The precision of doubles. Were you a top athlete or bottom?
Yeah, I was a top athlete. So the top athlete does a lot of the main drives, and then the bottom athlete does a lot of stabilizing and kind of cleaning up the top person's work.
So anything can happen, as Ember just said. If you have a rough outrun, and we've seen a few, then the pad all of a sudden looks a little more distant and difficult. Now, we've had 3 down and getting ready to put those shields down. Olympic medalists, Martins Bots and Roberts Plume. They captured that Olympic hardware in Beijing as part of Latvia's team relay. Now, if they can nail it here, along with teammates Robanica and Bogdanova, they could stay in the lead for a while. They finished second in the opening maiden event of mixed doubles in Lillehammer. And only problems for the young women's doubles team yesterday prevented them from potentially being on the podium.
Yeah, I think their women's doubles team is new to the circuit this year. I think maybe there was some, maybe made an appearance last year. I can't remember, but yeah, it's been good to see.
Yeah, and Marta and Kitya got a little bit of action last year, but then paired up in the middle of last season, and they've won some podiums this year.
Yeah.
As, of course, has this team. 2 victories, in fact, for these 2 Latvians. So well out in front.
Yeah, Martins and Roberts have been sliding really well this season. It's been really good to see.
Maybe getting married helped both of them. They each got married over the summer.
Yes, congratulations to them both.
Large advantage of 0.3 of a second now for Robanic and Bogdanova. They finished 11th yesterday. That was due to a crash near the bottom of the track. But as mentioned, they've been on the podium. They're still such a young team, but a team with potentially a very bright future.
Yeah, let's hope they can clean up their run today, and I'm sure if they do, they'll put down a quick run in combination with their male counterparts. Oh.
That was near disaster, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a good save. A bit of a late entrance into 12 there, but little feet tap and they're keeping it straight, which can be very hard, so good on them for that.
One more piece of business here, the pad.
Yeah.
Florida hits it without a problem. They distance themselves by 1/4 of a second ahead of Italy, but Ember probably could have been a lot more safe for the series of small mistakes by the women just now.
Yeah, I think maybe they can be happy with that as an improvement from yesterday. I'm sure they were looking to go a bit faster maybe, but that's racing.
Reaction time, a big part of this sport, and I'm not sure how you practice that. When you're training back home, do you do practice runs with the gate?
Yeah, for sure. I think every nation kind of does it differently. In Canada, we have a set of gates that we practice with in the summer, and it's definitely a challenging thing to get used to get that fast twitch kind of going.
Looks like a traffic jam up there as we have a pair of Polish doubles teams. The women are getting ready on deck, but here's the veteran men's team of Wojciech Himalewski and Jakub Kowalewski. This team had a DNF, these 4 athletes, at the opener in Lillehammer, but for these 2 Polish men and the women to follow, each with top 10 results in yesterday's World Cup doubles action.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm sure they're going to be looking to put down some good runs here and hopefully make their way to the top. Yeah, these guys are driving some really clean lines in here. It's looking good. Sticking it out of that crucial corner into the big Kreisel. We'll see if they can put it out straight, and they do. That looks really good.
Big Kreisel.
Yeah.
Finishing Kreisel. One of 2 tracks in the world that has a Kreisel right at the end. They open the gate for Domovac and Pivkowska. As I mentioned, top 10 yesterday for these two Polish women. And Ember, of note, each of them lists on their biography as their favorite track, Whistler. And that's where we're headed. And I bet that's your favorite track.
Yeah, Whistler is my favorite track for sure, and I'm excited to be going, and I'm sure if that's their favorite track, they are too. Yeah, I'm interested to see why maybe that's their favorite track. I'm sure they're excited to be going to Worlds there.
Not a huge surprise. Very few mistakes here. Don't want to jinx them in the last few curves, but trailing Latvia by a pretty wide margin.
Oh, bit of a skid there.
This could be interesting. They get it. The track at least is a little narrow, so you really have to be off your equilibrium probably to miss that pad, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's all that's going through their minds coming up that outrun is figuring out how they're going to hit the pad, even if they're hitting. So, bit of trouble out of 14. I think that they might not be the only victim of that today.
It's 5th place out of 5 so far, so we're not even yet at the halfway point, but it's Latvia 2 leading over Italy 2, then Ukraine, Romania, and Poland. Now this is where it can get exciting.
Oh, yeah, those are hard hits there. Doesn't feel good on the body.
Presence of mind, though. Great job by Nicola to get that pad.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
we have 2 consecutive American teams going now at the World Cup opener in Lillehammer. The USA only fielded 1 team in the mixed doubles, but this team finished on the podium. For Marcus Mueller and Ansel Hauksha, it was a podium in their first ever weekend on the World Cup tour. So what a way to begin your career, coming off of a junior world championship.
Yeah, that was incredible to see out in Lillehammer. I'm interested to see what they can pull off here.
As you know, as a young athlete, in many ways, you're still just learning lessons, learning lines when you visit these tracks for the first or second time.
Yeah, for sure. I believe these 2, I don't think they have a whole lot of experience here, so they're sliding really well for what they've got. Yeah, Marcus just looks so good on that sled. He almost looks like a single sled just draping over Ansel. I think they could be pretty happy with that run.
Well, they give away 0.3 of a second to the Latvian doubles team of Bots and Pluma, but that's a margin that these 2 certainly have the capability of picking up on. Forgan and Kirkby, they won the World Cup race in Lillehammer in women's doubles prior to their podium here in mixed doubles.
Yeah, these 2 have been sliding really well together this year, putting out some podiums and putting on some clean lines right now.
This would be a telling split. They've cut into the lead, but 1300s is quite a bit to still make up with not much track remaining.
Oh, into the green they go. Wow.
They do it.
Let's see.
They proved me wrong.
Holy, that was insane.
Time down at the bottom. That's great speed by the Americans.
Yeah, I don't know where they found that. That's incredible for them. Wow.
With Siobhan, you're going to get a smile down at the bottom no matter what the result, but it's extra wide when she comes down in first place.
Yeah, for sure. Sneaking into the green like that's got to put a smile on your face. Yeah, they've got a strong start as well, so that reaction start looked good.
Right. I believe they set a start record not too long ago, maybe 2 weeks ago in Altenburg.
Yeah, I believe so too. Yeah, wow, they made up a lot of time.
USA out in front, USA getting ready at the top, the second American team that did not race at the World Cup opener in Lillehammer. Di Gregorio and Hollander were there. Chan and Gordon were still back in Lake Placid trying to work on their brand new partnership. So they keep improving. Let's see what the Olympians can do. The USA, one of very few nations that are just going to be away from home for months on end because, well, all of you Canadians get to go home next week, and most of the European athletes get a day or 2 at home. These USA athletes are flying directly from Germany to Vancouver. That's a long haul before going to Asia.
Yeah, that is a long haul. They've got a couple long flights on their
itinerary.
schedule.
You get the frequent flyer miles.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Zach and Sean are looking good through here. Some smooth lines. In through that all-important 11. Yeah, they're putting down a pretty clean run in here. Sticking that exit. And we'll see if they can have a clean exit here, and they do.
So the American men's doubles team catches their teammates at the very end, but quickly back into the red now. The team of Maya Chan and Sophie Gordon did not race, as I mentioned, in Lillehammer, but they did, in fact, race yesterday in the 2-run World Cup doubles event, where they finished 8th.
Yeah, this is a new team for this year, and they've been sliding really well for such a fresh team. It's hard to work with someone new and get right on the World Cup, and they've been doing a really, really good job of that.
Germany's Toni Egert teamed up with a new partner, and they won the World Cup opener, their first ever race together. but then they've learned a few more lessons along the way. They had some sudden success, but it's a long process.
Yeah, it's definitely a long learning process. Oh, as they hit out there, let's hope they can hit the pad.
Yeah, they were able to straighten it up a lot faster than the team from Poland moments ago. So they do get a finish time. It's a 4th place finish time. We're more than halfway through now this competition with the powerful nations still getting ready at the top. But it's USA 2 leading over Latvia 2, Italy 2, and USA 1.
Yeah, that looked almost really good. That unfortunate hit out of that finish is a very classic move here in Oberhof, so usually it doesn't matter too much, but today it does.
Yeah, there are a couple of spots along the tour with team relay and now with the mixed singles and mixed doubles where the pad is in a much more vulnerable spot. What was it, Sigulda several weeks ago, where more teams did not finish the team relay than did. I mean, there were some crashes mixed in as well.
Yeah, that was the craziest relay I've ever watched in my luge career. I just kept being surprised.
The true beneficiary, Team Ukraine, on the podium for the first time ever. That was team relay. This is mixed doubles. And here is the second and final Italy team. Italy number 1. Nagler and Malaya, along with Vetter and Oberhof. They finished in 6th place at the World Cup opener. But all 4 of these athletes have had improved results as this season has moved along. So they could be medal contenders today.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see what they can put together. They're in the green already, so nice lines through there.
Split time here will be the first indication. It's close, 12 hundredths of a second.
Yep, they're
separating.
They're building some time through there. We'll see what it is, what the ladies have to work with out here.
Yeah, that's a nice advantage for Andrea Vetter and Marian Oberhofer. They finished just off of the podium yesterday in the women's doubles competition, but more to the point, they had their first podium last weekend in Winterberg. That was a big breakthrough after a sluggish start to the season.
Yeah, they've had a bit of a tough start to the season, but it's good to see that they're back on track, and this run is looking pretty good.
These 2 former singles athletes are the 2-time defending overall World Cup champions.
Yeah, that's incredible. They really are a solid team in the women's field, or the women's doubles field.
Well, Italy has done what it needed to do. It puts itself in the lead. Not quite sure what happened to that podium. We saw the clock stop. I think that was just some bad timing on our part, because the smile on Andy Vetter's face tells it all. Italy, as I mentioned, in the lead, possible podium position. Got to figure the 2 German teams still to come, and of course the 1 Austrian team remaining will very much be part of the plan.
Yeah, these lines looked really good. You can see the two people working in unison. That's how you find speed on this track, is keeping those shoulders moving together. And yeah, up goes to the pad.
All of you athletes, Ember, have gotten so good at being trained to pose for the cameras, win, lose, or draw.
Yeah, you always just got to put a smile on your face. At the end of the day, we're all doing luge for our job, and that's pretty exciting.
and you get to give your sponsors a little love at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
Now Latvia won, Baltgalvis and Yakasova, 15th place yesterday in the World Cup race. They were not part of this team relay for Latvia 1. They weren't even part of the World Cup until a couple of weeks into the season.
Yeah, I think these 2 are also a new pair this year, because I saw them on the junior circuit for the first half of this year out in France, which was quite fun. So it's good to see that they're they're putting some runs together here on the World Cup. I'm sure they're excited to be in this new mixed event.
Speaking of which, Ember, there haven't been a lot of races in La Plagne, where that track is in France, and that's where the 2030 Olympics will be. So give us the report. How are things there?
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's in the French Alps. It's a great track. It's fun. It's flowy. It almost reminds me of Whistler a little bit. So I'm excited to spend some more time there for sure.
Great point. It reminds a lot of people of Park City as well.
Yeah.
So here's Anda Upait and Zana Kaluma. They took part in the opening World Cup race where they finished just off of the podium in 4th place with the Miklasevic's Krast doubles team.
Yeah, Anda's such an incredible top woman. I believe she was kind of playing musical chairs with some different bottom women last year, which was
That's right.
very impressive to see. And now she's stuck with Zana, and they've been sliding really well. She looks so confident on that sled, just putting that head back.
Well and back. This is looking like it'll be a 5th place finish or something to that effect. We'll see in a moment. 6th. Yeah, last year, to your point, I believe Anda was in the top 15 in the World Cup standings with 3 different doubles partners. And it all began actually in Whistler with a really bad crash with her original partner.
Yeah, that's always unfortunate to lose someone to a crash, or not lose them, but lose them for the season. And super impressive to her to be able to switch back and forth through different people. Yeah, not quite the speed I'm sure they're looking for today, but that's okay.
Italy, number 1, leads over United States 2, and Latvia, number 2, all within a half second of one another. But now the race really begins, at least as we see it, because the final 3 teams, the final 6 sleds, have all already been on the podium this weekend. It begins with the first of 2 from Germany. Germany, number 2, Hannes Arlamunder, Paula Gubitz. They did not race as a partnership at the opening race in Lillehammer, but they very much raced yesterday, where they had a 2nd place finish in the World Cup race. Earlier this season, they had a victory on this, their home track.
Yeah, it was good to see them on the podium yesterday. 2 clean runs. They're in the green now here. Kind of expected, I think, for their home track. Yeah, looking...
Germany has 4 tracks, but this is literally their home track, as both of these athletes grew up within a few kilometers here of Oberhof.
Yeah, that's incredible, and I think they're showing that today. They look very confident on this track, just throwing down some great lines straight out of that Kreisel and up to the pad.
Well, it's not a huge advantage, only 200ths, and just like that, Diana Eidberger and Magdalena Machina finish just behind. They're in the red, but of note, these pair of athletes won the World Cup opener in Lillehammer. Of course, of note, they were teamed up with the Tobys on that day, so that certainly helps a little bit, right?
Yeah, for sure. It looks like they're losing a bit of time through here, which is interesting because there's nothing major going on that you can really see on the screen, but sometimes it's those little things that can really add up.
Well, they are now based out of Bavaria. Diana, the top woman, is a very famous athlete from here. She grew up nearby in Ilmenau. She's an Olympic silver medalist in singles. They hit the pad. I think they hit the pad a little too hard. Did something happen to the pad there?
Yeah, it looked like she maybe ripped the pad in half. That can happen sometimes if you hit it with your hand open. Those spikes can catch it, so it'll be interesting to see how quickly maybe they can get that pad changed.
More surprising, they're a quarter of a second, nearly a quarter of a second behind Italy, and they were lucky to stay out in front of the Americans. In fact, Germany 2 in 2nd place by 6 thousandths of a second ahead of USA 2.
Oh, wow. That's very close.
Be interesting to see if we're iced a little bit at the top for Team Austria, because Andres Schicks and his technical jury crew will have to attend to the pad.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I feel like I've heard of that happening, but I've never truly seen it. Wow, she hit it with a closed fist, so she just hit it really hard.
Well, as they pose for the camera, we hope to take a look down below, see how quickly they can repair things. We're on a tight schedule here, I know, because we've got the mixed singles still to come. Live television in Germany is part of the plan. And I guess it's a quick change. Credit the technical jury, the technical crew, as we're ready for action. Thomas Stoy, Wolfgang Kindl. They'll team up with Egla and Kip. They finished a disappointing 8th at the World Cup opener. But especially for the bottom man here, Wolfgang Kindl, he could get the rare Grand Slam this weekend. He's already podiumed in men's singles and men's doubles. Could he do it in mixed singles and mixed doubles?
Wow, that's a lot of sliding for Kindl. Holy. Yeah, that would be incredible to see him on all 4 podiums of this weekend.
I'm sure I've never seen anyone do that in this World Cup. I once saw Semen Pavlichenko be on the podium on the same day in team relay, sprint, and men's singles on makeup day.
Yeah. Yeah, this is shaping up to be a pretty good run set. They are in the red still, so we'll see what the girls can make up.
800s, and if anyone in the entire sport this season can make up 800s, this is the team. Egla and Kip, coming off of their 6th consecutive World Cup win yesterday.
Yeah, these girls have been sliding really well this year. They just look so comfortable on the sled. They almost look like one person again from the front, and that's what you want to see in a doubles team, is just everyone working together and moving as one. They've definitely got it.
700s, they're cutting into the lead, but now they're finally going to move into the green.
There we go, yeah.
It was a little late for comfort, though.
Yeah, a bit of a nail biter there, seeing how much red there was. A nice clean exit there. And up and hit the pad.
So it will be a podium. Selena and Laura do what they do best as they pick up a lot of time down below. And they're on the podium again this weekend. Italy's officially on the podium, 1 team remaining. And I wonder if the track's giving anything away now. Remember, it's snowing once again. The temperature is 2 degrees above Fahrenheit with this light snow.
Yeah, we'll see. I feel like the track looks like it's holding up pretty well. You can still see that sort of shininess on the ice.
On the track.
Which is a good indicator. Maybe there's a bit of frost coming out of 13 there, just because it's a bit more open, the moisture can get to it. But I don't think it's playing a huge factor today.
I need to correct myself quickly. Not 2 degrees above Fahrenheit, but Celsius. 2 degrees above Fahrenheit would be very fast sledding, very uncomfortable for these thousands of spectators. So this race boils down to Team Germany in hunt of Austria. That has been the situation all weekend long, as the Germans have captured 2 races, the Austrians have captured 2 races. So now one of the tiebreakers, as Tobias Wendel and Tobias Alt grab the handles. These 2 won the World Cup opener with Eitberger and Machina in Lillehammer. They won for the 56th time on the World Cup yesterday in the doubles event.
Yeah, these guys are an incredibly strong team. Right into the green they go. It's interesting to see what they can put down and see if they can't have a clean run.
Early indications appear very good. Already 1700s. That's a huge lead this early in the first of 2 runs.
Yeah, they're doing what they do best. They are really opening up that lead in front of Austria. 2 tenths already. That's just incredible. Straight out of...
Tobies have done their part. Now they open up the gate for Jessica Degenhardt and Cheyenne Rosenthal. Some hard paddles, a nice settle, and Ember, they're trying to do something which surprisingly they haven't done all year, and that's win a World Cup race. They've had a whole boatload of second place finishes.
Yeah, they've been on the podium a lot, but hopefully this will be their first gold. It looks like they've got a good lead to work with. They can put it down, that'll be great.
Not the best entrance into the 11-12 combination.
Yeah, a bit of a bump for sure, but they handled it really well, coming out of 13 really nicely. And we'll see if they can stick it out straight out of here, and they do. Yeah, this looks really good for them.
And they hit the pad, and they do it with a victory here. The first of the season for these two.
Yeah, I'm sure they're stoked on that. That looks awesome.
Business as usual for the Tobys. Germany earning one podium spot, joined by Austria in second, Italy third, and then Germany 2 and USA 2 round out the top 5.
Yeah, what a great race for the second ever mixed doubles event.
The Oompa Band playing its celebratory march. Little interesting tidbit, Ember, is that here we are in Thuringia on the Oberhof track, yet the 4 athletes that win this competition represent all of the other regions of Germany Luge, with the Tobys from Bavaria, Jessica from the Altenburg track, and Cheyenne from Winterberg. But let's be fair, they get a lot of runs on all of their home tracks, don't they?
Yeah, for sure. I think they definitely probably have the most runs out of anyone. So no matter where their hometown really is, I think they've got a lot of training in Germany.
There's head coach Patrick Leitner in his first year as Team Germany's head coach. Germany got off to a little bit of an uphill battle to begin this season, as Austria seemingly was winning every race. But now they're reclaiming their dominance heading to the World Championships. Italy in third, Germany, USA, Latvia, and Italy, and then all of the top 12 teams finishing. One thing that's fun about getting ready for the World Championships, Ember, on her home track in Whistler is certainly Canada has a home track advantage to a degree, but by and large, it's a more even playing field for all of the countries.
Yeah, for sure. Not many people come all the way over to Canada to train, so the training week that we've got is, I think, a lot of people's, that's all the training that they've ever gotten is kind of during World Cup weeks, so definitely a bit of a playing field leveler there.
Anything new we need to know about the track that's changed over the last year or so?
Nothing new. Classic Whistler. It's fast. I think the weather's going to hopefully hold up for us, and hopefully we can have some world-class ice going on.
It's probably one of the highest altitudes of any track in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite interesting that it's right on the mountain there, so it's pretty high up there. Whistler in itself is at a pretty high altitude, so...
Well, a lot of familiar faces here, and Wolfgang Kindl, still on the far left there next to the snowman, has the opportunity to do something no one's ever done before, and that's win 4 World Cup podiums in a single weekend. It's one of the great parts of this new discipline, and the fact that the persistent Wolfgang still competes in both disciplines. Maybe you should do that, Ember.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to do. I did that for a bit last year, and it was too much for me. I've got a lot of respect for Kindl there. That's a lot of sliding to do.
World Cup standings are coming up here in a moment. It's very interesting, and that is definitely one thing we'll all admit. We're still trying to learn exactly how it works, because athletes, as we've noted already, are shuffling within their teams from event to event, and there's one more of these mixed events coming up in the final weekend. I believe, Ember, you may know, the way it's done is you get your nation distinction. For example, Canada 1, Canada 2, Italy 1, Italy 2, and that's what they base the points on, regardless of who the competitors are.
Yeah, I'm not completely sure how they're doing it, actually. I was also quite intrigued about how they might do it, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, if that's how they do it, I would love to see at least a secondary list of how individual athletes have done in this event. Maybe when we run into the FIL Vice President and Director of Sport, Claire CHER Del Negro, she'll clear us up on this one. We see her in a couple of weeks, but for now we know that Germany has the top two positions as a result of their numbers on the right, which are a reflection of the races in Lillehammer, now here in Oberhof. Austria in third, the Latvians, the Italians, and the USA follow suit. But that just says the United States won, because we've had a USA 1 and a USA 2 this weekend, only one at the first race. So we'll see how it all shakes out. One thing we do know, Ember, it's a lot of fun to watch these relays.
Yeah, for sure. It's always exciting to add the element of the pad and the gate.
Mixed doubles in the books. Mixed singles coming up. We'll look to get a few interviews in a moment, but Ember and I will step away for a few minutes, and we'll be back for the call of the mixed singles from Oberhof, Germany, coming up in just a few minutes.
Congratulations, Team Gold here for the mixed event. How do you feel today?
I feel so happy. The Tobys had a great run. We had a mistake in 10 and 11, but we tried to get on the line again, and it worked out. So I think we can be happy about it and travel to World Championship with a good feeling.
Februar raus, ihr dürft schon einsteigen, der gern Limoncello trinkt. Aber eine Frage habe ich. Braucht jemand von euch einen Oberhof for Winners Schal? Dann müsst ihr den Emil schöne Augen machen.
Congratulations to the Italian team on the podium again. How was the track for you today?
Thank you. The track was a little bit tricky today, a little bit warmer than yesterday, but I'm still pretty happy with our result today.
What was the challenging part for you today on this track?
Sorry again? The challenging part, not really on the track, but it was the material to adjust it in the right spots, and that was pretty difficult today.
Hat jemand von euch den auch ein Handy? Okay. Die letzten 3 Stifte kommen.
Congratulations, Austria on the podium again. What was the challenging part for you on this track here?
This week, I think triathlon was the most challenging part, especially for the team relay now. But I think we made it pretty clear. It was okay. Yeah, and we're happy for this last run.
So, liebe Kinder, die richtige schönste Seifmütze. Die kommt übrigens von der Junioren-Weltmeisterschaft. Die gibt es nur noch zu kaufen für richtig viel Geld, aber ihr habt jetzt die Chance.